everybody, it's Alexis, founder of Blue Key Property Solutions, and today I'm coming to you from the gorgeous Savannah, Georgia. And I wanted to talk to you about a book that I recently finished reading called The Next Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and Sarah Stanley Fallow, which is essentially a follow-on from the book The Millionaire Next Door, which you may be familiar with, which was originally published in 1996. So I wanted to share with you a few of the main takeaways I got from the book. So if you're interested in how to be a millionaire, then keep watching. So the biggest, most important message that's stressed throughout the entirety of the book is that if you want to be a millionaire, you need to be frugal and live below your means. So this is a lot easier said than done. It definitely requires a lot of discipline, but it's an important factor, and all the millionaires that they surveyed said that this was an essential thing. So nowadays it's very tough because, whether consciously or subconsciously, a lot of people are worried about, keeping up with the Joneses. And especially now more than ever, you have targeted marketing where you see your social media feed and you have ads that are tailored just for you and you're able to see what celebrities are doing. But it's a critical factor if you want to be a millionaire to not be influenced by these external factors, to just stay in your lane and to stay focused. Okay, now being frugal, what does this actually mean in practice? So the biggest big ticket item that the book spends a lot of time talking about is purchasing your primary residence, because this is where a lot of Americans tend to go wrong. Everybody wants to live in, the big house in the nice neighborhood in a prestigious area. You want to be in the same neighborhoods where your friends and family and coworkers are all buying homes. And a lot of the times people will stretch themselves as far as they can possibly go in order to make that happen, which is not conducive to building wealth. So the rule of thumb that the book says is that you should never buy a house if the purchase price is 3 times your current income or more. So for instance, if your household income is $100,000, you never want to buy a house that's $300,000 or more. You want to keep it well below that $300,000 mark. The reason being is because if you're spending a house that's 3 times your income, that means you're pretty much spending the bulk of your income just to maintain your house payments, and it doesn't leave you any margin to build wealth. And not only that, but it essentially makes you a prisoner to your current day job or whatever it is that you do, because you need to be able to maintain your current level of income in order to be able to continue to afford your payments. Another rule of thumb is that you don't want to buy a house if you're relying on additional income in the future. This is very risky because that day may never come. I think all of us have been passed over for that promotion, or even if that day does come, I think we've all seen the Criswell's Christmas Vacation, where Clark thinks he's getting a big bonus at the end of the year and he gets a Jelly of the Month subscription.
It's a 1-year membership in the Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, God.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
So you don't want to do that. And not only that, but even if you do get the income, a lot of the times things like property taxes and mortgage insurance premiums tend to increase in the future, not decrease. So you may need that extra money just to maintain the payments as it is. So the next big ticket item that the book spends a lot of time talking about is vehicles. So everybody wants to have, a nice car. They want the latest and greatest. And there's even some professions where people feel pressure to drive fancy cars, or otherwise people won't take them seriously. But the studies in the book showed that the top 3 makes of cars that were driven by millionaires were number 1, Toyota, number 2, Ford, and number 3, Honda. The biggest piece of advice is that you should really just get a car that's reliable and that's going to last you years to come, because in the long run, you're going to save a lot of money. If you're spending money on luxury cars, that's not going to be conducive to building wealth. So the second tip that they had when it comes to buying cars is that you should buy a car versus lease a car. So the thing with leasing is, even though your payment may be lower month to month, if you're somebody who leases a car and then trades it in every few years, in the long run, you'll actually end up spending significantly more money leasing a car than if you just buy it and hold on to it for the life of the vehicle. And the majority of the millionaires that they surveyed in the book all did buy cars versus lease them. Now the next major tip was that if you want to be a millionaire, you need to have a budget. So the studies that they did showed that no matter how much somebody made, whether you're making $50,000 or $50 million, you should always have a budget and stick to it. Now me and Justin, we have maybe like 15 different accounts between the two of us where we contribute money for things like pets, travel, mortgage, investing, you name it. We have an account for whatever expense that we're budgeting for. That may be overkill for a lot of people. The point is, it doesn't matter how you do it. The important thing is just that you have a budget and that you stick to it. So that's incredibly important. Now, another area that the book spends a lot of time focusing on is education. They very much stress the importance of education both in primary school and in college and beyond. However, the one thing they say about primary school is that they recommend living in an area which has a really good public school system. So the reason for this is that people who send their kids to private schools end up spending a lot of money, up to hundreds of thousands of dollars between, K through 12 just to send them to a private school. So if you live in an area that has a great public school system, that can save you a lot of money right there. Now, when it comes to higher education, college and beyond, the book dispels the myth that you need to go to a name brand school in order to be successful. In fact, they argue that the most important thing is the experiences that you have. So they highly recommend that you pursue internships and opportunities that align with your goals and aspirations, and that's just as valuable coming out of college as going to a school that has a name brand like, Harvard or Princeton or something like that. Their recommendation is to leverage places like community colleges and local schools where you can still get a great education but not have to pay the high dollar amount for it. So this leads into the next area that the book talks about, which is career choice. So ideally, the book recommends that you choose a job that utilizes your skills and abilities to the maximum extent possible, but also aligns with your passions and your goals. So the book is pretty blunt about the fact that it is difficult to build your net worth if you don't at least have an average or higher than average income. So you ideally would want to choose a job that either has a higher than average starting salary or one that at least has the potential to have a higher than average income. But this is not to be discouraged if you're currently working a minimum wage job. If you want to become a millionaire, you just need to work a little harder. It might take you a little longer, but you can still do it. And their study showed that millionaires are beginning to emerge from an increasingly wide variety of career fields and jobs. So just keep that in mind. So the last thing that I wanted to touch on is investing. If you want to become a millionaire, if you want to grow your net worth, the best and fastest way to make your money grow is to invest it. Whether you're investing it into a retirement account, into the stock market, or in my favorite, real estate, you want to make sure you're making your money grow. You don't want it just sitting in a checking account that's earning zero interest, or in a high interest savings account which is still only yielding you 0.5%, 1%. You want to be putting in something that's going to grow over time. And one of the things the book recommends is to invest your money in something safe, like ETFs or blue chip stocks. While these may be boring, these are going to get you high yields over time. You want to try to drown out whatever's going on, what's trendy, GameStop. You might be able to hit big with that, but you can also crash really hard with that. So you just want to pick, a nice, safe investment and just go with that and ride it out for years to come, and you're going to get a lot of return at the end of the day. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it valuable. I know I got a lot of really great nuggets out of the book, and I was reading it, a lot of things that I've already started implementing that I wasn't before. And yeah, so if you got value out of it, please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave us a thumbs up, leave us a heart, and we'll see you soon.